Hello everyone and welcome back to Creative Paper Studio. My name is Cassie and today we are doing part 2 of the Creep on June hosted by Miss Tracie Fox. And I have done a little bit of prep work, but for the most part we're gonna play around here. So like I said, this is part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, go ahead and go back and watch that if you like. We just kind of built our cover and talked about what we were going to do in this video. So I do apologize. The AC is on, so you may hear my furnace running, and I have a couple of papers finishing up printing in the printer, so you might hear my printer in the background. So these are one of the, excuse me, background pages that Tracie Fox has given us in her kit. So I've just printed off like 6 of these. That way I can use them to mat my project. I've decided that's what I want to use to cover the box. So the only prep work that I really did was I cut a strip of this, I did some inking, I created this little label. I just used a piece of the file folder, cut it into a ticket shape, and put this on there. Did a couple little bits of stitching, added some brads, and then I did the same thing with the CPI case 374. I also created a little pocket the same way we created this backing piece for our story. So I did that in video 1. So if you need to know how to do that, go back and watch that in video 1. But I just used the envelope punch board to make the pocket. And I did some inking. So to begin with, I want to take this strip that I have cut. It's just a tad bit shorter than the height of my book, and it's a little bit longer. It goes past this first crease right here. So what I am going to do is I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to put a good amount on this crease right here, because we don't want our paper to buckle when we fold this up. So you want to make sure you're getting a really good amount of glue right there. If you want to, you can take your finger and smear it out to make sure it's, evenly distributed. And then I'm just going to put some glue on the back of this. Oh no, I jumped ahead. I really did, because I needed to put my closure on first. So, scratch that. We have to put our closure on first. See? I told you in video 1 that I didn't have a plan. I haven't made one of these, and I was probably going to mess up. So, anyway. We're just going to go with it, because that's how I'm going to roll. Okay, I don't need the screws. I need brads. And there's only 3 brads there, so I need to grab a couple. So just one moment. I don't know if I have any in here of that color. I think they're all like the silvery color, which is okay, so I'll just use them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't care if they match or don't match. I mean, this is a junk journal. It's an old case file from back in like the 1700s. So, okay. So I've got those. We got a little bit of a glue mishap. This is the top. Okay. Move you guys over here because I'm going to just set this aside. That glue will dry and we'll have to re-glue it, but whatever. It's okay. Okay, so this is gonna go about hither. That looks about centered to me. Sure, why not? Knock everything off. We're off to a great video. Okay, I'm just gonna take my pokey tool, get a couple little holes started for my brads. Okay, and now I'm going to finish poking the hole for the brad. You want to make sure you do this before you glue your papers on, because your paper is going to hide the legs of the brads. So, I'm going to add a little bit of Fabri-Tac to the back of this. Not a lot, just, you know, a little bit. Line my holes up. And then we're going to punch our brads through. Then we're going to, oops, what fell? My little door knocker piece came off. Well, I'll just have to fix that now, won't I? Okay, so just going to open up the legs of the brads. Like so. Then I'm going to turn it over like this, and then I'm going to give them a good press. You can use something hard and sturdy to press them down, just to make sure they're well adhered. Now this little guy fell off, so I'm just going to put him back on. Then we're going to line this up with that side so that I can get this in the right position. And then again, I'm just going to start the holes. Okay, now I'm going to poke the holes. And then do the same thing. Put this on, put the brads through. And if you want, you can, you know, paper this side before you go and put your decorative things on, but I'm just going to leave mine as is. I like the color of the fabric. I'm also going to ink it up. That way it looks dirty and old. So I am just opening the legs of the brads on the other side, and then we'll do the same thing by pressing it down to make sure they're well adhered. So then what we're left with is a cool little closure, like so. Okay, so now I'm going to open it back up, and now we're going to go back and put that paper on. So this paper we tried gluing on before, we're going to glue it on now. So I'm just going to reapply my glue. Reapply the glue onto the paper. Give this a little smudgy smudge here so that it's nice and covered. And then we're going to put this on, leaving a bit of a gap at the side, the top, and the bottom. Now I'm going to flip mine over because it can't lay flat because we have our closure on there. And I'm just going to press from this side. Okay. And if you guys are wondering what color ink I am using for my distressing, I am using the Scorched Timber because it's not quite black, but it's dark enough that it'll work for it, you know. It almost looks black, so. Okay, so now I have this piece that I want to glue in here. Here's my bone folder, and I'm just gonna take my bone folder and lightly, because this isn't quite dry yet, but I want that crease somewhat there. So I'm not gonna press very hard, but I want to know where my crease is at so that I don't overlap the crease with this. Okay, so I did forget to ink the inside of this, so I'm going to do that. Don't you just love watching the inking? Honestly, the inking doesn't bother me to watch people do it because it's so funny how some people barely ink and others ink pretty heavily, and then, you know, their techniques on how they're inking too are also different. Okay. So I'm going to take and glue this part down. And I showed how to make this piece in the first video, so make sure you watch the first video because it'll lead you to this one. And I'm trying to line that up with my paper that I put on this piece because they're the same height. So just open this up, give that a good press. Okay, and now I want to put my paper in here like this, and I am going to overlap this. So this is just the offcut from cutting this piece. So it's already the same height because I cut it down to that. And it just so happens that when I line it up in here like so, it happens to go over that crease. So I just lucked out with that. But you measure your paper to however you want it. And remember, my book is 9 inches tall, so my papers are just a tad under 9 inches. Okay. Again, I'm going to get a good amount of glue where the book folds together here. And then I'm going to glue this. I just love that sound. I like all the sounds involved with crafting. So, I'm going to line that up there, get it lined up to my crease, but not on the crease, because you want this to be able to fold freely. Okay. So there we've got that piece down. Again, I'm just going to take my bone folder real quick and very lightly press in this joint. That way the crease is there. It can glue down, but don't push too hard, otherwise you will rip your paper because your paper's wet, remember. Okay, so my thoughts on this was to take this and just put this on here, like so. I mean, it's simple and easy, and I'm sure I'll stamp like a number or something up there or whatever. Maybe we'll get out some number stamps and put 374 there. But I like this here. And I'm thinking I do want it raised up a little bit. So let me find my foam tape and I will be right back. Okie doke. So I found my double-sided foam tape. And I just want some of this to put on the back to raise it up. So I'm not going to put it like right up to the edge, but close enough that it'll support it. I'm gonna put a few strips. Okay, I think one more across that direction. Y'all may think this is overkill, but you do you. You put however much or however little you want to put on the back of yours, if you're following along with me. Okay, I cut that one a little too long. And I'm not going to waste that little piece. That one might stick out a little bit, so there we go. Glue, 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 glue everywhere. Okay, now I'm just going to peel the backing off of all these using my pokey tool. Sorry about that. So this is going to be a bit of a shorter video, unless I come back and record some more later and just add them together, but I'd rather just post the video as is. I have a doctor's appointment. I gotta go see my sleep doctor for my CPAP, which I hope one of these days I can get off of. So I'm just going to take this and just kind of eyeball where I think I want it. Get it somewhat straight-ish. Okay. So I've got that on there. Now I have this pocket that I would like to put down here, but I think it needs some stitching around it. So just one moment. I guess I could have paused while I stitched this, but you know, hey, it is what it is. And you don't have to stitch, it's just my preference. If you watch any of my channel or find me over in JJ with Joy or anything like that on Facebook and see any of my work, you'll know I like to stitch. So I just want to put this here. I'm going to use my art glitter glue. Put some glue around the 3 edges to make it a pocket. But when I put it down, I'm going to make it pucker a little bit. So just kind of like so. That way you can fit just a little bit more in the pocket. And when I say pucker, I just mean by pushing it in a little bit from the sides and then making sure everything's down. So if you can see, that's not exactly flush. There's a little bit of room there so I could fit, you know, stuff in the pocket easily. Okay, so there's that piece. And then we have this piece here that I want down here, like so. And the reason I want it down here is because we're going to use this other label up here somewhere. So I want it pretty close to the bottom. I don't want it so far over that it's going to interfere with our binding there. Actually, if you can see on here, there's lines from the file folder where you can expand it. I'm just going to crease on the one closest to the original one to give it a little bit of a spine when it closes. So, and if you don't understand what I mean by that, so now it's just got a bit of a spine on it there, so that when this closes, it has room. Okay, so I'm going to just glue on the 3 sides, remember, because we want this to be a pocket. Okay, and then, like I said, get it near the bottom. Try and place it as straight as you can, and then press it into place. You can turn it over and give it a little press from this side. And then there we have our story with our pocket. And then I have this, but I'm not sure if I want to put it up here or put it down here. Maybe put it off to one side and put a picture or somebody's, or I think it'd be cool to put it here and then put the names of the detectives there that worked on the case. Or maybe do the same up here. I'm not 100% sure yet, so I'm just going to leave that aside for now. So now with this, what you can do is start putting things into your pockets. Like I have this piece that has the identification cards in it for the detectives. This could go in here. The deed to the house could go in here, but that's, you know, a little tall. I might just clip this in somewhere. I don't know yet. So anyway, that's the basic construction so far of our front piece. Like I said, I have a doctor's appointment, so I gotta get going out the door for that. But I will be back tomorrow for the next installment of this. I hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial so far for my craft on, or my creep on June with Craftly Haul. And until next time, guys, keep it crafty, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Toodles!